Okay, so I picked up a controller from ControlByWeb.com. I got the X-400 with a couple of expansion modules. Now these are used for industrial applications, and they have a master controller and expansion cards or controllers, whatever you want to call them. And they also have modules that are standalone, fixed number of inputs and outputs. This one is the 11S. It has 2 relays, 2 high current relays, and this one has 4 relays and 4 inputs. These are more low current. And so we're going to open these up and we're going to see how long it takes to set them up. So when you first open it, we have a little warning here. We don't need that. Got a quick start guide. It comes with an expansion cable with some instructions with a QR code and a cellular antenna. Now this one is a cellular unit, and I got a cellular unit because I love Ethernet. However, there are times that Ethernet is, you work with IT departments and you get people overwriting your IP address and then you can't access the unit. And so I always do cellular as well. With these devices, you can either hook it up through the Ethernet port, use it locally. It doesn't need a cloud, doesn't need cellular. But if you do use cellular, you do need to go through their cloud. So that's just something to be aware of. So this looks pretty important. It says stop, don't throw away. So let's just scan this QR code real quick. So on this, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to select cellular devices. On here we got the 400C, which is what this one is. And so it wants you to first go on to controlbyweb.cloud. And it wants you to create an account. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to scroll all the way down. I'm going to hit agree. And it wants me to verify. I'm going to verify that just on my phone here. You might want to make sure you remember what your username is. Okay. And once you're logged in, choose devices, new device, go to cell device. It wants you to enter a cell device name. So I'm just going to say CBW controller 400 because that's the model number. Once you enter in the serial number, which is located on the back of the device, just right here, it wants you to enter in the last 6 digits. So I'm going to do that. And it wants you to enter in a cell ID. It's a pretty long number, so I'm just going to go ahead and enter that in. I'm going to go ahead and submit. We're going to enter in the data plan code. Now, the data plan code is located on your invoice when you purchase a data plan. It's worth noting that all cellular plans come with a cloud seat. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in my code. I'm going to hit apply data plan code. Okay, so after we enter in the cell ID, we can go ahead and hit activate SIM. I'm going to hit OK. And it says this process can take up to 15 minutes. Go down, hit submit. Now you're going to see the status showing as paused here. That's because we haven't powered up the X400C yet. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And it's important to note that this is just the easiest way to do it. To set up your cloud account, enter in your cellular device ahead of time, because when you power this up, it's automatically going to attempt to connect to the cloud. And so if you already have this entered in, it should be smooth sailing. So let's go ahead and power these on, and we're going to remove this removable terminal connector. And we can see here at the top, it says VN plus and ground. Those are where we're going to wire our power supply into. And I am going to wire these in. The voltage goes on top, ground goes on bottom. I'm going to give those both just a small tug just to make sure that they're secure. I'm going to plug it back in. Before I plug this in, I also want to connect the antenna. And these cellular antennas are usually mounted on the exterior of a waterproof enclosure. So we're just going to connect this. And Nice thing about these, DIN-rail mountable. You just put them on, snap it down. So now we're going to mount this cellular antenna just in this here, not what it was made for, but it'll do the trick. Then you are ready to plug in your device. So I'm just going to plug it into a power strip off camera, and we can see the power light turning on. You can see the cell light turns on and starts flashing, and it can take some time. It says up to 15 minutes, and we can see here on our screen that it's showing as connected. So from here, we can actually go in and look at the setup pages, enter in the default username admin, enter in the password web relay, lowercase. And because this is over a cellular connection, it will be a little bit slower. But you can see here we're accessing it directly over their cloud, and you can go in and make changes. Now, I would recommend setting this up locally using an Ethernet connection. That way you're not going to go through your data plan. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. Let's go ahead and configure it for local communication. The great thing about these devices is that you don't have to use it over cellular or Wi-Fi. You can connect directly to it using the Ethernet jack. And so I'm going to go ahead. I have this connected to my computer. These devices, they come with an IP address of 192.168.1.2. And I know that my IP address is not at that same network. So we're going to have to go change that really quick. Go ahead and open up your network settings. Click on Ethernet and go to edit your IP address. Make sure to make a note of what the IP address is before you change it, so that way you can revert back afterwards. And since this one's at 192.168.1.2, we're going to say .1.50. And we're going to go ahead and click Save. Now we're going to open up an internet browser, type in 192.168.1.2, and we have now connected to the X400 CW. This is the control page. We haven't set anything up, so nothing shows here, but we can access the setup pages by typing in setup.html. And they all come with a default username admin, and enter in the password web relay. And we have now set up communication with the X400 CW. So from here, you can view your general settings and you can configure some things. If you'd like, you can change your IP address so that way you can communicate with it on any network. So if I wanted to revert my IP address, I'd put it at 192.168.0. Whatever's available on your network. Make sure to check with your IT department. You can set up there's so many settings here. We don't need to go over all of them, but you can configure email addresses. You can change your passwords. They have passwords for these setup pages, passwords for the control page. And from here, you can go ahead and set up devices as well. So right now, I don't have any devices set up. I'm going to go ahead and let's connect an expansion module to it. And let's mount this one as well. And you can just connect it with this expansion ribbon cable. All right, so we got our devices set up. Let's go back to devices and hit find devices. And you can see it found those devices right away. We have the X11S and the X17S. This one's the 11S, this one's the 17S. And you can go ahead and add those devices. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to say X11S. And then you have the option to add I/O on that device. So this one has 2 high current relays. This one has 4 relays and 4 inputs. So I'm going to add, this is the 11S right here. So I'm going to add both of those relays. And I'm going to go to the 17S. I'm going to add that. It's going to ask me to give it a name. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit that. And I'm going to add all the I/O on this device as well. So we've added those devices, and now when you go to the I/O setup page, not only will you see one-wire sensors, but you also see relays and digital inputs. and those are located on their respective devices. We have the 11S relay contacts here and the 17S relay contacts right here as well. And so you can add more and more of these expansion modules if you would like, just depending on your application. And you can go into each one of these and you can configure them however you would like. You can go to the control page. We'll go to the control page and then we'll come back to the logic. If you go to the control page setup and hit add IO to control page, you can select whatever IO you want. Let's go ahead and hit device 1, relay 1, and device 1, relay 2. But for now, we'll just add these two. And then now when you go to the control page, you can either get to that by just going to the IP address, or you can view it here on the setup pages. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn relay 1 on. And you can see right here the relay light turned on. You can turn it off. Same with relay 2. So you can control this locally, and you can control this over cellular, Wi-Fi, however you want to communicate with it. This makes it super powerful for so many different applications. We've been using these so much in our projects.